So, just finished up here in Columbus, Ohio. Ohio State falls to Michigan for the second year in a row. Final score, Michigan 45, Ohio State 23. This one hurts. Took an Uber ride this morning to the stadium, talked to my driver who was a Buckeye fan, and he said it voluntarily. If we don't win this game today, it's a failed season. And we're going to talk about more of what Ohio State's season can hold at the end of this video, but I think what he said is the sentiment that the majority of Buckeye Nation believes, the majority of what Ryan Day has communicated to us. Like, for Ohio State, the expectation is to win the Big Ten, to make the college football playoff, to play for a national championship, and probably first and foremost, no, not probably, first and foremost, to beat Michigan. And so for the second year in a row, failed to get that done. I'm JD Pickell. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on the socials at JD Pickell on Twitter and on Instagram. Watching this game, the first thing that came to my mind when watching the first half was, hey, Ohio State's going to roll. Offense came out hot. CJ Stroud looked good. Emeka Egbuka gets in the end zone. Like, the offense was rolling. Got a former linebacker playing running back, like you have more of an edge to you. They were rolling. And then multiple times throughout that first half, they had self-inflicted wounds. Secondary doesn't hold up their end of the bargain, gets beat deep. Also, you dial it up to blitz JJ McCarthy. He gets that out of his hand, makes a play, and you fail to make the tackle on the edge, and he takes it to the heart. Like, there was so many times in the first half where you had your kind of game plan going. Michigan's trying to run the football. That's who they are. That's their MO, and they weren't able to do it in the first half, like 29 rush yards. So that was your separation point if you're Ohio State. That was the point in the game where you say, okay, now we're going to lock up. Instead, like I already mentioned, you lose your matchups, don't make tackles, allow 2 big touchdowns, and that's the reality where it's close at half. And Michigan, being a second half team, that's not the kind of game you can play with them. And what was really interesting to me, being in the Michigan press conference, was their perception of Ohio State. Because I think here's the biggest issue when you talk about Ohio State going forward. The issue is the edge that is required to play games in early January and to play in the college football playoff and to win this conference, to beat your rival. You got to have it. You got to have that physical edge. And what we saw them not have a year ago in Ann Arbor showed up yet again in the second half this week. So for Ryan Day, he set the standard multiple times. He has communicated what the expectation is at Ohio State. And it's the truth. Everybody in Columbus would echo that sentiment. And for the second year in a row, they don't get it done. So now you got to look at Ryan Day and say, okay, what do I need to do differently as a head coach? Because I've had 2 different teams under me, had a generational quarterback in CJ Stroud who has not been able to beat Michigan these last 2 years. What do I have to do here? Because the second half, make no mistake about it, I know the edge was a factor, but also I would argue that Ohio State got outcoached. I mean, you scored 3 points in the second half, and you're an explosive offense, scoring right around 48 a game. Like, you have the guys to make some really special things happen. To score 3 points in the second half, it's not winning football. That means you're not utilizing your playmakers right. That means you're not dissecting the defense correctly. And then on the other side of the ball, Donovan Edwards breaks off 2 70-plus yard runs. Okay? You got to look inward now. Because the common denominator, and I don't mean this in a condescending way, but just the fact of the fact is Ryan Day is the common denominator right now in these last 2 losses. I think Ryan Day is a great coach, but he will be judged here at Ohio State by beating Michigan and moving forward and trying to win national championships. That's the standard. He understands that. He embraces that. But they did not get it done here today. So, we don't take moral victories here. I promise you nobody in that locker room is. But here's the reality for Ohio State. If you want to make the college football playoff, that's still possible. You need a little bit of help, all right? You need a TCU loss. You would appreciate a USC loss somewhere in their last couple of games. They're both probably going to play before this video even gets out. So in their title games, you would hope they lose. And maybe, just maybe, depending how the committee views this loss, you can sneak in the back door. But the goal of beating Michigan, not going to happen. The goal of winning the Big Ten, also not going to happen. Ohio State's one of the best programs in the country, one of the best teams in the country. And today, the difference was the physicality of Michigan and their ability to adjust when Ohio State wasn't in that second half. This has been The Hard Count. I'm JD Pickell. We are here in Columbus because of y'all. We're the People Show. So everything that you know, everything that you love about college football, man, it happens here every single day. And we're able to go to places like Columbus, Ohio because of y'all's support and y'all subscribing to the program and allowing this to be possible. So thank you. We're going to keep the party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.